The knife was still warm. Detective Marcus Hale stood in the quiet kitchen, staring at it on the floor. The room looked too clean. Too perfect. No broken glass. No signs of a fight. Just one man lying still on the tiles, eyes open, like he had been surprised right before the end. And across from Marcus stood Daniel Reed. Daniel didn't look scared. He didn't look nervous. He looked calm. "I told you," Daniel said softly. "I wasn't here." Marcus didn't answer. He had already seen the proof. The security footage. The timestamps. The phone records. Everything showed Daniel was miles away when the crime happened. It was the perfect alibi. Perfect. And yet, Marcus felt something twist inside him. Because somehow, it was wrong. He looked down again at the knife. Then back at Daniel. "If you weren't here," Marcus said slowly, "then how did you know where the body was before we found it?" Daniel's calm smile flickered for just a second. Just a second. And that was enough. Because in that tiny moment, Marcus knew the truth. Daniel Reed had done it. But if that was true, then the impossible had just happened. And Marcus had no idea how to prove it. 3 days earlier, everything had been normal. The sun was bright, and the town of Brookvale was quiet, just like always. Kids rode bikes. Dogs barked behind fences. Nothing felt dangerous. Marcus liked it that way. He had been a detective for over 15 years, and he had seen enough dark things to last a lifetime. Brookvale was supposed to be his break. A peaceful place where nothing serious ever happened. That morning, he sat at his desk, sipping coffee that had gone cold. "Another boring day?" Officer Jenna Cole asked, leaning against the door. Marcus gave a small smile. "Let's hope so." Jenna laughed. "You always say that." Before Marcus could reply, the radio crackled. Unit 12, possible homicide reported at 48 Maple Street. The room went silent. Marcus stood up slowly. "Well," he said, grabbing his coat, "there goes our quiet day." When they arrived, the house looked normal. White walls. Blue door. Flowers in the yard. But inside, it was different. The victim was a man named Stephen Carter. A local business owner. Well-liked. No enemies, as far as anyone knew. Marcus walked through the house carefully. No forced entry. No mess. No sign of a struggle. It didn't make sense. "Who found him?" Marcus asked. Jenna checked her notes. "Neighbor. Said the front door was open." Marcus nodded. That's when he saw him. Daniel Reed. Standing near the doorway, talking to another officer. Marcus walked over. "You knew the victim?" Daniel nodded. "Yeah. We worked together." He spoke clearly. Calmly. Too calmly. "Where were you this morning?" Marcus asked. "At a conference in Chicago," Daniel said. "Flight records, hotel check-in, everything. You can verify it." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "We will." Daniel didn't seem worried at all. That was the first strange thing. Later that night, Marcus sat in his office, going over the evidence. Everything checked out. Daniel had boarded a plane. Daniel had been seen at the hotel. Daniel had even made a public speech during the time of the murder. It was airtight. Too airtight. Marcus leaned back in his chair. "Something's off," he whispered. Jenna looked up. "What do you mean?" Marcus tapped the file. No struggle. No noise. No forced entry. The victim knew his killer. Jenna nodded. "So." Marcus looked at her. "And Daniel Reed knew exactly when to show up." Jenna frowned. "That doesn't prove anything." Marcus didn't answer. Because at that moment, his phone buzzed. A new message. From an unknown number. He opened it. It was a photo. A blurry one. But clear enough. It showed Stephen Carter, alive. And standing next to him was Daniel Reed. The timestamp. The exact time Daniel was supposed to be in Chicago. Marcus felt his heart race. Because that meant one thing. Daniel Reed had been in 2 places at once. And that was impossible. Unless something much bigger was happening. Marcus slowly stood up. "Jenna," he said, his voice low, "we're not dealing with a normal case anymore." Outside, thunder rumbled in the distance. And somewhere in the dark, the truth was waiting, watching, and getting ready to strike. Marcus didn't sleep that night. He sat at his desk, staring at the blurry photo on his phone again and again. Stephen Carter was clearly alive in it. And standing right beside him was Daniel Reed. Same face, same clothes, same man. But that was impossible. By morning, Marcus's eyes were red, but his mind was sharp. "Tell me I'm not crazy," he said, showing the photo to Jenna. She leaned in, squinting. "That's Daniel. No doubt about it." Marcus nodded slowly. "Check the timestamp." Jenna did. Her face changed. "That's the same time he was giving that speech in Chicago." Marcus crossed his arms. "Exactly." Jenna shook her head. "So what are we saying? He has a twin. A double." Marcus didn't answer right away. "Or someone wants us to think that," he finally said. They started digging deeper. Daniel Reed's life looked clean. No criminal record. No strange past. Just a successful businessman who traveled often and spoke at big events. Too clean. Marcus didn't like that. "People aren't this perfect," he muttered. Jenna sat at her computer. "I'm pulling security footage from the conference." A few minutes later, they watched it together. There was Daniel, standing on a stage, smiling, talking to a crowd. The time matched perfectly. Marcus leaned closer to the screen. "Pause it." Jenna paused. Marcus pointed. "Zoom in on his hand." Jenna zoomed. Daniel was wearing a ring. A silver ring. Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Now pull up the crime scene photos." Jenna did. They both stared. In the photo from the house, Daniel Reed stood near the doorway, and his hand was clearly visible. No ring. Jenna blinked. That could mean something. Marcus shook his head. "It means everything." That afternoon, they went to talk to Daniel again. He welcomed them into his home with a polite smile. "Detective Hale," he said. "Back so soon?" Marcus didn't smile back. "We have a few more questions." Daniel stepped aside. "Of course." The house was neat. Quiet. Almost too quiet. Marcus walked slowly, looking at everything. Photos on the wall. Awards on a shelf. And then he saw it. A small table near the window. On it was a silver ring. Marcus stopped. "There it is," he thought. Jenna noticed too. Daniel followed their gaze. "Oh," he said lightly, picking it up. "I forgot to wear it yesterday." Marcus turned to him. "You forgot." Daniel smiled. "It happens." Marcus stepped closer. "You wore it in Chicago," he said. "But not at the crime scene." Daniel's smile didn't fade. "Maybe I took it off at some point." Marcus's voice hardened. "You weren't supposed to be anywhere near the crime scene." Silence filled the room. For a moment, no one moved. Then Daniel chuckled softly. "You're reaching, detective." Marcus stared at him. "No," he said quietly. "I'm getting closer." Back at the station, tension filled the air. Jenna paced. "So what now?" Marcus looked at the board. Photos. Notes. Timelines. 2 places. 1 man. "It doesn't add up," Jenna said. Marcus nodded. "Because we're missing something." Just then, the door burst open. Officer Grant rushed in, out of breath. "Detective, you need to see this." Marcus turned. "What is it?" Grant held up a tablet. "Another body." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "Where?" "Downtown parking garage." Marcus grabbed his coat. "Let's go." The garage was dark and cold. Police lights flashed red and blue across the concrete walls. Marcus and Jenna walked toward the scene. And then they saw him. Another victim. Another clean kill. And on the ground, next to the body, was a phone. Marcus picked it up carefully. "There's a video," Jenna said. Marcus pressed play. The screen flickered. It showed the victim, alive, talking nervously. "I don't know why he chose me," the man said. "But if anything happens—" The video glitched. Then a figure stepped into frame. Tall, calm, smiling. Marcus's breath caught. It was Daniel Reed. Clear as day. No blur. No doubt. The victim turned, fear in his eyes. "Please," he began. The video cut. Silence. Marcus lowered the phone slowly. Jenna whispered, "That's him. That's really him." Marcus nodded, his face grim. "But he was just with us," she added. Marcus looked back at the screen. Same face. Same voice. Same man. In two places. Again. And this time, there was no mistake. Marcus clenched his jaw. Because now, this wasn't just strange. This was impossible. And as he stood there, surrounded by flashing lights and growing fear, one thought hit him harder than anything else. They weren't chasing one killer anymore. And just as Marcus turned to speak, every light in the garage suddenly went out. Total darkness. Then, footsteps. Right behind them. Marcus froze. The darkness swallowed everything. No lights. No shadows. Just the sound of breathing, and those footsteps behind them. Slow. Careful. Getting closer. Jenna grabbed Marcus's arm. "Did you hear that?" "I did," Marcus whispered. The footsteps stopped. Right behind them. Marcus turned quickly, raising his flashlight, but it flickered weakly, barely lighting the space. Nothing. No one there. Just empty air. "That's not possible," Jenna said, her voice shaking. Marcus didn't answer. Because deep down, he knew one thing. They were not alone. The lights suddenly came back on. Bright. Blinding. Marcus blinked, looking around fast. Officers stood at the edges of the garage, confused. Some shouted. Others checked their radios. "Did anyone see someone walk through here?" Marcus called out. Head shook. "No, sir. No one came in or out." Marcus clenched his fists. "That's a lie," he muttered. Jenna pointed at the ground. "Marcus, look. Fresh footprints. Right behind where they had been standing. Clear. Real. And leading away." Marcus followed them with his eyes. They stopped suddenly, in the middle of the floor. Like whoever made them had just vanished. Jenna stepped back. "Okay. I don't like this anymore." Marcus took a slow breath. "Neither do I." Back at the station, the mood had changed. This was no longer a normal case. 2 murders. 1 suspect. And impossible evidence. Marcus stood in front of the board again. Photos of Daniel Reed were everywhere now. Different angles. Different times. Same face. 2 places at once, Jenna said quietly. "Again and again." Marcus nodded. "And always with an alibi." Jenna crossed her arms. "So how is he doing it?" Marcus stared at the photos. "Either he's not alone." Jenna finished the thought. "Or that's not always him." They both went silent. Because that idea was worse. Late that night, Marcus made a decision. "We're going back to his house," he said. Jenna looked surprised. "Without a warrant?" Marcus grabbed his coat. "We're not searching. We're watching." Daniel Reed's house was dark. No lights inside. No movement. Marcus and Jenna sat in an unmarked car across the street. Hours passed. Nothing. "Maybe he's not home," Jenna whispered. Marcus shook his head. "He's there." "How do you know?" Marcus didn't look away from the house. "Because he wants us to think he's not." Midnight. Still nothing. Then a light turned on upstairs. Jenna sat up. "There." A shadow moved across the window. Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Stay ready," he said. The shadow stopped. Then slowly, it turned. Facing the window. Facing them. Even from across the street, Marcus felt it. That stare. Cold. Knowing. Watching them. Jenna whispered, "He sees us." Marcus didn't move. "Yeah," he said. "He does." Then something strange happened. The light turned off. The shadow disappeared. Marcus waited. 1 minute. 2, 3. Nothing. Should we go in? Jenna asked. Marcus hesitated, then nodded. Let's move. They crossed the street quietly. Marcus reached the door. Unlocked. He pushed it open slowly. Creak. Inside, the house was silent. Too silent. They stepped in carefully. Daniel. Marcus called out. No answer. They moved through the living room. Kitchen. Hallway. Empty. Jenna frowned. But we saw. I know what we saw, Marcus said. They reached the stairs. Marcus looked up. Dark. He started climbing. Step by step. Each creak sounded too loud. At the top, a door stood slightly open. Light spilled from inside. Marcus pushed it open. The room was empty. But something was wrong. Very wrong. On the wall were photos. Dozens of them. Marcus stepped closer. His heart began to pound. Every photo was of him. Marcus Hale. Walking. Talking. Drinking coffee. Even sitting at his desk. Jenna gasped. He's been watching you. Marcus didn't speak. Because in the center of the wall was one large photo. Taken just hours ago. At the parking garage. Marcus holding the phone. Looking shocked. Captured perfectly. Jenna's voice trembled. How did he take that? Marcus stepped closer. And that's when he saw it. Written under the photo, in black marker. You're getting closer, Marcus. His breath caught. Because that meant only one thing. Daniel Reed wasn't just ahead of them. He was playing with them. And then, a floorboard creaked behind them. Marcus turned sharply. The door slammed shut. And the lights went out again. Darkness again. But this time, it felt heavier. Like the air itself was pressing down on Marcus and Jenna. The door didn't just close. It locked. From the outside. Jenna rushed forward. We're trapped. Marcus kept his voice steady. Stay calm. But even he could feel it now. They had walked straight into a trap. Somewhere in the dark room, a soft sound came. A slow clap. Clap, clap, clap. Jenna froze. Who's there? Marcus pulled out his flashlight. It barely worked, shaking light across the room. Nothing was there. Then a voice spoke. Come. Clear. Close. You came to my house without asking. Marcus turned toward the sound. Daniel Reed, he said firmly. Show yourself. A soft laugh came from the corner. I thought you'd be smarter than that. Jenna whispered, Marcus. I don't see him. Marcus didn't move. Because he's not in the light, he said. Then it happened. The flashlight flickered brighter for a second. And there he was. Daniel Reed. Standing right in front of them. No sound. No door opening. He was just there. Jenna stepped back fast. How did you? But when Marcus blinked, Daniel was gone again. Marcus's jaw tightened. This is not normal. Daniel's voice came again, now behind them. You keep saying that. Marcus turned quickly. Empty. Jenna grabbed Marcus's arm. This isn't possible. Marcus looked around slowly. It is, if we're being fooled. Suddenly, the lights in the room turned on. Bright. Marcus squinted. The room looked normal again. No shadow. No Daniel. Just the photo wall. And silence. Jenna whispered, Did we imagine him? Marcus walked slowly toward the wall. No, he said. We didn't. He studied the photos again. But now something was different. One new photo had appeared. Right in the center. Marcus frowned. That wasn't here before. Jenna stepped closer. What is it? Marcus froze. The photo showed Jenna. Standing in the parking garage. Looking scared. Taken just minutes ago. Jenna backed away. No, 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 no. Marcus's eyes darkened. He's inside the system. Jenna shook her head. That's not possible. Marcus turned sharply. Then explain how he keeps showing up where he shouldn't be. Silence. Because neither of them had an answer. Suddenly, the house shook. A loud bang came from downstairs. Jenna jumped. What was that? Marcus grabbed his flashlight. We're moving. They ran down the stairs carefully. Each step louder than the last. Bang. Another sound. Coming from the kitchen. Marcus moved first. Jenna followed closely behind. They reached the kitchen. Empty. But the back door was wide open. Cold air rushed in. Marcus pointed. He was just here. Jenna shook her head. Or he wants us to think that. Then Marcus saw it. A phone on the counter. It was playing a video. He picked it up slowly. Jenna leaned in. On the screen, Stephen Carter, the first victim, was sitting again. Alive. Again. But this time, he was crying. He said he would protect me, the man in the video said. But I saw him. Both of him. Marcus's grip tightened. Both of him. The video shifted. Now Stephen was looking straight at the camera. Please, he said, panicking. There are two Daniels. The screen went black. Jenna stepped back. Two Daniels. Marcus didn't answer. Because now it made sense in a way that made everything worse. The perfect alibi. The impossible locations. The double sightings. Marcus whispered, "It's not a mistake." Jenna looked at him. "Then what is it?" Marcus stared at the dark screen. "It's a system." A sudden noise came from upstairs again. This time, louder. Running. Fast footsteps. Jenna grabbed Marcus. "We need to go." But Marcus didn't move. Because on the phone screen, something new appeared. A live camera feed. Pointing directly at them. From inside the house. Watching them in real time. And above the feed were words. "You're not safe in here." Jenna whispered, "Marcus." But before she could finish, the lights all shut off at once. And heavy footsteps came running down the stairs. The footsteps came faster now. No slow teasing. No hiding. Running straight toward them. Marcus grabbed Jenna's arm. "Go." They ran through the kitchen, slipping slightly on the tile floor, the house now feeling like a maze that was closing in on them. Behind them, the footsteps stopped. Silence. That silence was worse. Jenna whispered, "Where do we even go?" Marcus looked around fast. "Back door." They sprinted. But the back door slammed shut on its own. Click. Locked. Jenna's face went pale. "We're trapped." Marcus turned slowly. The house was still again. Too still. Then a voice came from everywhere at once. Controlled. "You keep running in circles." Marcus tightened his grip on his flashlight. Daniel Reed. "Enough games." A soft laugh echoed. "You still think it's just me?" Jenna's breathing shook. "What does that mean?" Marcus didn't answer. Because deep down, he already knew. The living room lights flickered on. And standing there was Daniel Reed. But not alone. There were two of him. One near the stairs. One by the hallway. Identical. Same face. Same calm eyes. Jenna stepped back. No, this isn't real." Marcus stared hard. "It is real." One Daniel smiled slightly. "You figured out the alibi," he said. The other one continued. "But you didn't understand it." Marcus's mind raced. Two people, identical, switching places. The first Daniel shook his head. "Not switching." The second added quietly, "Splitting." Jenna blinked. "That's impossible." Marcus's voice dropped. "Then explain the footage. The photos. The timing." The Daniels spoke together now. "We built the perfect alibi." Marcus clenched his jaw. "For what?" The two Daniels looked at each other. Then back at Marcus. "For getting away with anything." Suddenly, police sirens screamed outside. Jenna turned sharply. "Back up." Marcus didn't move. No, not yet. Because something was wrong. The sirens stopped instantly. Dead silence outside. Then Marcus's radio crackled. A voice came through. Come. Familiar. It sounded like Marcus himself. Case closed. Jenna froze. That's your voice. Marcus's eyes narrowed. That's not me. The radio continued. The suspect has been cleared. No evidence of wrongdoing. Jenna shook her head. But we're still here. Marcus slowly looked at the two Daniels. One of them smiled. See, he said softly. The system already decided. The house began to shake again. But this time, it wasn't just noise. The walls flickered, like the house itself was turning into something else. A simulation. A setup. A controlled space. Marcus whispered, "This isn't just a crime." Jenna finished, "It's a setup from the beginning." The Daniels stepped forward together. "You were never supposed to solve it," they said. Marcus took a step forward. "Then why show me everything?" A pause. Then the answer came. "Because you were the only one who noticed the flaw." Jenna grabbed Marcus's arm. "We need to get out now." Marcus nodded once. Agreed. He moved fast. Not toward the doors, but toward the photo wall upstairs. Jenna yelled, "Marcus!" He didn't stop. He reached the wall, grabbed the center photo, the one of himself at the garage, and ripped it down. Instantly, the house shook violently. The lights exploded. Glass cracked. The Daniels shouted at the same time, "Stop!" Marcus turned to Jenna. "Run!" They bolted down the stairs as the house began to collapse around them. Walls flickering. Rooms bending. Like reality itself was breaking apart. They reached the front door. Marcus pulled it open, and they stumbled out into the night air. Behind them, the house went silent. No lights. No sound. Just a normal, dark building again. Jenna fell to her knees. What was that? Marcus looked at the house, breathing heavily. "I don't think that was just a man," he said quietly. Jenna looked up. "Then what was it?" Marcus didn't answer right away. Then he said the final truth slowly. "A system built to create the perfect alibi and erase whoever gets too close." A long silence. Then Jenna whispered, "So is it over?" Marcus looked back at the house one last time. No movement. No signs of life. Then his radio crackled again. A new message. Unknown sender. One line only. "You stopped one version." Marcus's eyes tightened. Because he understood now. There was never just one Daniel Reed. And as the wind blew through the quiet street, Marcus realized something even worse. The case wasn't closed. It had just learned how to hide better.